This is Warbles on a lot to inmendham. Just me to you, right? I'm going to post it publicly. But this is Warbles on a lot to inmendham, alright? I got about 5 minutes into your number 4 reply clip. And it was just the same old, same old. I mean, apart from the fact that you've obviously had a howling, screaming, tearing your hair out, babbling off at the mouth, potty mouth fit, which wasn't able to be loaded on YouTube, so you've stuck it up there on Vlogger Bowl, where all the shit flows up and all over the floor. You really feel that I've attacked anti-natalism? In an observer's guide to anti-natalism and anti-natalists, which is obviously intended for people who are on the outside looking in, they've never fucking heard of it. There are people out there who want the meme of anti-natalism to be spread, to be propagated, alright? And I'm friends with some of them. And I had never heard of anti-natalism until 6 months ago, when via the friend activity list, which is no longer part of YouTube because we're being kettled by the excited States Department of Homeland Insecurity to prevent an American spring when the snow melts. They don't want a repeat of the Arab Spring in the excited states, so YouTube's being kettled and friend activity's gone. And if I came onto YouTube today, I would never have found you, Gary, right? I wouldn't have stumbled across your alleged philosophy, right? And I say alleged because I don't see it as a philosophy at all. I see it as an ideology, right? Perhaps as a religion for atheists, right? And I know atheists get the shits at being told that they actually have a religion, but atheists have a belief about God. If you have a belief about God, it is a religious belief. Therefore, atheism is a species of religion. It is one of the powerless God theories. Right? A powerless God theory, Gary, is one where the individual concerned cannot imagine, no matter how hard they light a fire under their arse and squeeze their brain into high gear, they cannot imagine a God theory that is capable of dealing with all the simultaneous variables in the world that they perceive. All right? That's a powerless God theory. Now, they're pretty fucking popular. You know? It is normal to have a powerless God theory. You've got a powerless God theory. It's called atheism, right? The Pope of fucking Rome, he's got a powerless God theory, right? In his powerless God theory, they take up a collection to pay the insurance premium for the policy that covers the roof of the fucking church against storm and tempest. Even though they get down there and they recite the Apostles' Creed, where they say that they believe in one God, the Father, the Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, of all things seen and unseen. That's just lip service, Gary. What they really fucking believe is that their God cannot steer the thunderstorms. That's why they have an insurance policy on the roof of the church, right? They have another insurance policy to stop their fucking geriatric parishioners from slipping over on the steps. And they have another insurance policy to pay all the legal fees of their pedophile priests, right? And even though the tenets of their religion, right? The commandments of Moses, you know, the Mosaic tenets. It states, thou shalt not kill. The Pope has a fucking armed guard at his bedroom door. and another one at the end of the hallway and another one at the front gate. Thou shalt not kill, and the head of their religion has an armed guard, right? That is a fucking powerless God theory, right? And if it's a blasphemous act of a powerless God theory to have an insurance policy on the roof of the church, doesn't that mean that all kinds of insurance are equally blasphemous? Right? Another one of those fucking tenets, right, says thou shalt not commit usury. So if you want to keep their religion, if you want to keep their God theory, you're not allowed to pay interest and you're not allowed to charge interest. So everything from, well, that even predates Moses. It goes back to Zoroaster, like 5,000 fucking years ago. Hammurabi in Babylon went against the prohibition on usury. And Babylon fucking fell. And every society that's decided to have a deficit-financed economy in order to secure economic growth has fallen on its fucking ass. You and I are alive at a time when 5,000 years of economic growth has utterly destroyed the global environmental surplus. So there's nothing to be harvested anymore. Peak oil's gone, peak fish is gone, peak coal is gone, peak phosphorus is gone, peak timber is gone. Right? Industrial civilization is about to fucking implode. You say you wouldn't live my life? You wouldn't give 25 fucking cents for my life? I wouldn't live your life for a fucking $1,000 a day. I wouldn't live your life for $100,000 a day. Right? Because you're a miserable whinging half-wit stuck in fucking North America. I mean, your life is shit. Yeah, I agree. Your life is shit, Gary. To listen to you and add it all up and, divide it by the number we first thought of and read between the lines, no human existence is worthy of Gary's admiration unless that human existence is a professor of philosophy at Harvard. And that's what Gary realises that he never was, therefore all humans are fuckwits. And you know what? The kangaroos and the sheep and the rabbits and the deer, they're not professors of philosophy at Harvard. So they're not fucking worthy either, are they? Therefore they should die because they might suffer during their life. And Gary's afeard of suffering, right? Gary worked out his entire view on life, the universe and everything by the time he was 7, right? I, Gary of the inmendham clan, am too fucking selfish to have a kid. Because I'm terrified that I might be a bad parent. And I can't be bothered anyway. Because all that matters is me. That's about the fucking sum total and limit of Gary's philosophy. It's not that you can't be a good parent, you can't be bothered to be a good parent. It's not that it's difficult to live a happy life in harmony with the environment, but oh fucking hell, there's some effort involved. Why would you have fucking solar panels and batteries and an inverter when you can just flick the switch and turn on the coal-fired power station that lives down the road? And then you can whinge and whine and fucking moan about normal people and what cunts they are. But, they supply you with food, and they supply you with heat, and they supply you with clothing, and you don't fucking make anything. And you whinge because you don't think life's good enough because you're not living up to your own standards, Gary. I live up to my standards, right? I don't think you should fuck people unless you're prepared to go broody with them. Because it's a symbolic act, right? It welds connections, psychic, mental connections, duties and responsibilities and expectations. And I don't want any of them because I don't think I can fucking live up to them. So I don't trust to a condom, right? I just don't fuck people, right? I'm a hetero celibate. What do you fucking do? Constantly talking about the chickie babes you were talking to on the sticking cam. As if any of them want to fuck you. Why would they want to do that? Why are you still fantasising about sweet young things at age 52? Right? You're as fucking old as my father was when I was born. Right? You have no fucking interest in reproducing, so you have no right to play with anybody else's reproductive system. Right? Learn to be happy with wanking, old man. At least be a harmless old wanker instead of a silly, foolish fucker. And stop fantasising about sweet young things because they find it disgusting. Right? Young women do not enjoy being drilled and leched over by old farts like you. And this is something that I can speak with authority on because I once used to live in the nurses' home where there was 96 women, 3 men and 1 spare room. And I know what sweet young things talk about when they're sitting around in their 90s crocheting babies' clothes. And I know what it's like to be a teenaged male in that television room looking at all the sweet young things with all their sweet young curves and all of them crocheting babies' booties. And none of them with a kid. Now, just as you uploaded a potty mouth version to Vlogger Bowl where, you know, the shit rises up and overflows onto the floor, I filmed a nasty, vicious version of my response to you, and out of respect for all the other anti-natalists in the world, I'm not going to upload it. Now there you sit in your bucket of shit in the excited states of Norte Americano, and because you've had a failure of your imagination, and because you've made a fucking mess of your life, and because you've never achieved anything because you're too fucking scared to risk anything, you've thrown out a challenge to me as to what people are going to remember of me if I drop dead. Well, I was a nurse for 5 years, Gary. Cure the sick, comfort the dying, raise the dead. You know, I've done that. I developed a thing called a lockout index for towing hang gliders into the sky safely behind ultralights. In 1997, it was mandated by the Civil Aviation Safety Authority as mandatory industry standard for all aero towing training operations in Australia. A couple of years later, after another dickhead got killed towing without it, it was mandated for all operations, all aero towing operations. It's estimated to save 10 takeoff crashes a year, Gary. That's 1 fatal, 2 high quads, 3 paraplegics in wheelchairs, and 4 cashed up yuppies who can afford a hang glider to frighten themselves with on the weekends, orthopaedic casualties for, say, 2 years. It saves the grateful Australian nation's treasury $31 million a year in unbroken, uncomposted yuppies. I've paid rates on an endangered species sanctuary for 21 years. I got 12 Burralong frogs when they were rare and threatened and let them go here, and they became biologically extinct according to National Parks and Wildlife Service. And 10 years later I had over 1 million that were overflowing my boundaries because I used trespassing sheep for archery practice and there were no hard-footed land lice to kill the frogs during the drought. So I've kept one biologically extinct species from becoming extinct, and it's now no longer biologically extinct. And when I figured out how to save 30-35% of my car's fuel burn, I made it public on YouTube. What have you done, apart from encourage people to wallow in misery and feel fucking depressed? You're an idiot. A hypersensitive idiot with a fragile ego. Shut up and get a productive hobby instead.